my end, and then I will share it with you later.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, so in today's lecture, we are going to see some more details of time complexity, which is known as asymptotic notations. So what are these asymptotic notations? So in last lecture, you had also appeared for that NICO test where you saw how to count the number of program steps for a given program. And depending upon the number of program steps, you had an idea how much execution time your program will require. But that analysis which we did was not much meaningful, or it was not exact. So counting program steps is not exact estimation of execution time. Do you agree with this? Yes, do you agree with this? Program steps is not exact estimation of the execution time, because in that case we only calculate how many steps the program is going to execute, but we do not consider the time required to execute those steps. So in actual, if there are two statements in the program, suppose it is calculating some answer with such arithmetic notation. Answer is equal to x plus y. Also, it is also the program is also having statements like this: x plus y into divided x into 100 plus 200 or whatever notations. Then the whole raised to, I think I can write over here, this is raised to 4. Yes. So suppose there is a complex arithmetic calculation denoted by the second statement. So in the method which we have seen in the first time, the first statement and the second statement were counted as 1 unit. But do you think that both the statements will require same amount of time for execution? Yes, will both these statements require same amount of time for execution? What do you think? Yes, no? Yes, Unnati, Aditya, and Karan. Yes, others, are you able to understand? Whatever we have seen in the last lecture, the notations or calculating number of steps for a given program is not exact estimation of the execution time, because each of the steps will require different amount of time which is not analyzed in that method. Do you agree with me in this case? Yes. Others, are you able to understand? See, this is a very interesting topic related to asymptotic notations, and it is important in terms of improving performance of your program. So this is a very detailed study, but in this unit of yours, we'll only have an overview using small examples, like how is the performance of a program analyzed. So this will be only an overview and not a exact estimation of this. So we'll only try to understand those methods. We will not have detailed analysis or detailed execution or detailed study of it. as you are at the beginning level of understanding of programming and data structures, we are going to only have an overview of these methods. Is this clear to all of you? Yes. So shall I proceed with this? Okay. So we saw that the program step method which we have used has some drawbacks. So to overcome some of the drawbacks, or so to overcome these drawbacks and to have a more meaningful estimation of the time and space complexity of a program, we will be studying something called as asymptotic notations. So what are these asymptotic notations? These are some other notations for time and space complexity of a program, but which are more meaningful than the previous step. So what are these asymptotic notations? So we will be studying three asymptotic notations. First is O. It is generally called as or pronounced as big O. So this is an O, O-H-O. So big O. We'll see what are these. I am only discussing the terminologies first. So big O. Then next notation which we will be studying is omega. Omega. It is denoted by this symbol. And the next notation which we will be studying, the last notation which we will be studying is theta. Yes, clear? So we will be studying these three notations: big O notation, omega notation, and theta notation. And we'll see how these are used to analyze your program. See, analyzing the program, we have seen it in last lecture. We are focusing on the execution time of the program. So these notations will give us some idea about execution time of the program. So now let us see what are these three notations. So in the beginning, we will start with big O notations. So it is called as big O, and it is denoted with a capital O. Big O notation. So what is this big O notation says? See, now I'm typing in the notepad. This big O notation says that there is a function f and a function g. So there are two functions f and g. These functions are non-negative functions. What do you mean by non-negative functions? Yes, these are arithmetic functions. Whenever you solve these functions, their answers are going to be non-negative. So this is an assumption. So what is this? This is an assumption. Now what does big O notation talks about this f and g functions? So it says that f of n is equal to big O g of n. So what is this meaning? That f is a function. This f is a function of some value n. and g is another non-negative function of some value n, and we say that f of n is big O of g of n. So how it is read? How to read it? I'll write it over here. How to read it? F of n is big O of g of n. This is how we read it. If and only if. So when do we say that f of n is big O of g of n? If and only if there exists a positive constant c and another positive constant n0. Not one positive constant, two positive constants c and n0 such that f of n is less than or equal to c into g of n for all n where n is greater than equal to n0. Yes, it will take some time for you to understand. To make it understand, we'll solve an example and then we'll again come back to this definition. So let us see one example, a small example of f of n and g of n. So suppose let f of n is equal to 3n plus 2. Yes, are you able to see it? So suppose f of n is equal to 3n plus 2 and g of n is equal to n. Yes, so we suppose that there are two functions f of n and 3 and g of n. Do you understand this notation? F of n is equal to 3n plus 2. Have you solved such equations in mathematics? Yes, do you understand these notations? Yes, you can use the chat box or better if you use your mic to interact. Okay, I would suggest you to use your mics to interact. Yes, so instead of, you might have used variable x, y, z. You can use any variable. F of x is equal to 3x plus 2 or f of g of x is equal to x. You can use any variables over here. It means the same. So there is this equation 3n plus 2, or we say there is a function f of a variable n such that it is equal to 3n plus 2. Understood this notation still now? Yes, these are non-negative functions. So f of n, Afan is asking, are these what will be its result? They are non-negative functions. So they must evaluate in such a way that the result is always non-negative. So that is what we need to find values of n as well as values of c as discussed, such a way that their result is non-negative. Clear, Afan? So we have to make these functions non-negative for some value of n. Yes. So what does this definition of big O says that this f of n must be less than equal to some constant into g of n. So we want to find that whether, so there is a question whether f of n, that is 3n plus 2, is less than equal to some constant into g of n. So what is g of n? In our case, it is only n. So we have to find that is there any value constant c and some values of n such that f of n will always be less than equal to c into n. So if there is a constant c and a value of n which satisfies these equations, then we say that if it is yes, so if the answer to this question is yes, then we say that f of n is equal to big O of g of n. Understood what is the definition? So given these two functions, we need to find a constant c and some values of n such that this equation is satisfied. If there is no such constant c or for any value of n, this equation is not satisfied, then we say that f of n is not equal to big O of g of n. Is it clear? Yes, time being focus only on this mathematics related to program analysis, like how this is used for program analysis and other details. We'll see it later. So currently only focus on this mathematical construct. Then we'll see how to apply it with program analysis. Yes, are you with me? Yes, all the students. Is it too high for you? Shall I explain again these concepts, or are you comfortable with this? Yes. Everybody else? Only few students are responding in chat box. Yes, if you want me to explain again, so I will explain. I will revise this once again. Yes, Aditya is asking yes. You see, why means yes. Yes, Aditya, why means yes. So if this is true, yes means it is true. So if this is true, then we can say that f of n is equal to big O of g of n. If it is false, then we say that f of n is not equal to big O of g of n. So what is this big O of g of n? It says that suppose there are two functions f of n and big O of g of n, then f of n, yes, f of n must be less than equal to c into g of n for some value of n. Yes, for n greater than equal to n0. So this is n0. If you are not able to see, this is n0. So suppose there are two functions f of n and g of n, then we say that f of n is equal to big O of g of n if and only if, so this is if and only if f of n is less than equal to some constant into g of n for some value of n. So n must have some range in which it satisfies this equation. So this is the main thing. So given any expressions or functions f of n and g of n, when f of n when evaluated, it is always less than or equal to some constant c into g of n. Then we say that f of n is equal to big O of g of n. Yes. Now we'll see one example. Then I will come again to this notations. So let us see one example. Then I will come back to this notations. Such examples can be asked in your MCQ also, that whether it is true or false is for a given n is f of n equal to big O of g of n, is it true or false? So such notations can be asked. So suppose f of n is equal to 3n plus 2 and g of n is equal to n. So suppose I say that c is equal to 4. So suppose c is equal to 4. Then can I say that 3n plus 2, that is this f, is always less than equal to this 4 into what is g of n? G of n is only n, where n is greater than or equal to 2. Where n is greater than or equal to 2. Can you solve and check this? This is n. Can you solve and check? See if put n is equal to 2 in this equation. What will be the answer? What will be 3 into 2 plus 2? What will be this result? Yes, everybody, are you with me? 3 into 2 plus 2. Yes, it is 8. And what is this right hand side? 4 into 2. 4 into 2. What is this? 8. So is 8 less than equal to 8? Yes. Is this equation satisfied for c is equal to 4 and n greater than equal to 2? Are you all able to understand? Now again try for n equal to 3. So what will happen if I consider n as equal to 3? So tell me what will be value of f of n for n is equal to 3? What will be value of f of n for n is equal to 3? Everybody try to understand. And if you are having doubts, you can ask me. Because reading this
11
and then understanding on your own will be a bit difficult. Yes. So 3 into 3 plus 2, that will be 11. And what is this right hand side? 4 into 3. What is 4 into 3? Yes, 4 3s are
12.
So is 11 less than or equal to 12? Is it correct? Yes, is 11 less than 12?
Yes.
So similarly, it will satisfy for all values of n which are greater than or equal to 2. So for all values of n greater than or equal to 2. See here it is 2. Now check for n is equal to 1. What will happen in my being n equal to 1? What will happen if we consider n is equal to 1? Is it satisfying? So that will be 3 plus 2, that is 5, is less than equal to 4. Is it true or false? Is 5 less than equal to 4? It is false. So this
False.
is satisfied only when n is greater than or equal to true. Otherwise, it is false. So in this case, we say that f of n means f of 3n plus 2 is equal to big O of n. Only when n is greater than equal to 2. Is it clear, everyone? So when we find such constant c and a minimum value for n, and this equation is satisfied that f of n is equal to c into g of n, then we say that f of n is big O of g of n.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, can you explain that last line again?
This line.
Why did you write that 3n plus 2 inside the brackets of f?
Here. Yes. Are you talking about this last line?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. See what is the formula? Where should I write? Yeah, I'll write it here and then again I'll switch back. F of n, this is the definition of O of n, is equal to big O of g of n. When do we say this is true? If f of n is equal to, is less than or equal to c into g of n. Are you able to see it?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So if f of n is less than equal to c into g of n, then we say that f of n is big O of g of n. Now in this case, our g of n is n only and c is equal to 4. That's why while writing this, we write only n over here because g of n is n itself in this example. Understood?
Ma'am, then over here it should be 3n plus 2 only. Then why you have written it in brackets?
Yes.
On the right, left side.
Yes, yes. Here it must be only 3n plus 2. Yes, 3n
Ma'am,
plus 2. Yes, you are correct. 3n plus 2 is equal to O of n. Understood? Why? When n is greater than equal to 2 and c equal to 4.
Ma'am, and is this big O thing like a function?
Yes, pardon?
This big O you have written and inside that we have written n.
Yes.
So is that like a function thing?
No,
As
it
we
is
have
not
written
a
f of n or
function.
g
It
of
is
n.
a notation. It is not a function. It is a notation. It is read as big O of n. It is a notation. And what is meaning of that notation? Meaning of the notation is this. When we say it is big O of n, it means that it is less than equal to c into g of n for some c and some minimum value of n. So it is a notation. It is you may call it as a notation instead of a function. Yes, understood everyone? Yes, so who was asking the question? Amodi?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, so are your doubts clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So we'll solve one more example. So in this example, suppose that see the definition of big O of n is written in the notepad which I have shared. So you can keep on referring to the notepad for the definition of big O. So suppose f of n is 3n plus 3 and g of n is only n and c is equal to 4. And we have n always greater than equal to 3. So in this case, can we say that f of n is big O of g of n? So how do we represent it? 3n plus 3 is less than equal to 4 into n because g of n is n or what n greater than equal to 3. So we'll check, you can check for different values of n. For n is equal to 3, what will be value of left hand side? For n is equal to 3, 3n plus 3. What will be values of left hand side and right hand side, and is it satisfying the equation? So 3 into 3 plus 3, so 12 less than equal to 4 is well. Yes, so this is true. So we can say that this f of n is big O of g of n, means 3n plus 3 is big O of n. Yes, you can try for different outputs, for different values of n. Suppose n is equal to 10. What will be the left hand side and the right hand side for n equal to 10?
T3 less than or equal to 40.
Yes, 33 less than
Less than or equal to
40.
40.
So we can say that it is satisfying. So f of n is big O of g of n. Clear everyone? Now try for n equal to 2. Will it satisfy for n equal to 2?
No.
Yes, for n equal to 2, other side prime 3 to the 6 plus 3, 9 less than equal to 4, 3, 4 to the 8. Is it true or false? Yes, false. So it is
False.
not satisfying. So we can say that f of n is not equal to big O of g of n, then n is equal to 2. So when n is greater than equal to 3, then only f of n is big O of g of n. Yes, are you able to understand?
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
मला एक डाऊट आहे का आपल्याला प्रत्येक इक्वेशन मध्ये सी ची आणि एन ची व्हॅल्यू गिवन राहील का? कारण जर आपण एन ची व्हॅल्यू डिटरमाइन करू शकतो, पण मग प्रत्येक एक्झाम्पल मध्ये सी ची व्हॅल्यू तिथं स्पेसिफिक दिलेलीच राहील का?
No, value of C will not be given to you. You have to decide on the value of C, on the constant.
Okay.
So you have to do trial and error method for a value of C and some values of N. So you can try having minimum values like 1, 1 or because it is supposed to be non-negative, so you can start from positive values and then check. Yes, is it clear to all? So let us solve one more example and then we'll see two more examples. So suppose f of n is equal to 10n square plus 4n plus 2 g of n is equal to n square. C is equal to 11 and n is greater than equal to 5. Now check whether this is true or false. Is f of n big O of g of n? Is f of n big O of g of n? Find it on your own. Is it true or false? Put values as n is equal to 5, 6, 7, any random values of n which are greater than 4 and less than or equal to 4.
Ma'am, for 5, 272 is less than 275.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. And for numbers less than 5. For numbers less than 5. For numbers less than 5.
Ma'am, for 4 it is equal, ma'am.
Yes, for 4. For n equal to 4. What is f of n? 10 into 4 square plus 4 into 4 plus 2.
Ma'am, it's 178.
What is it? Is it 178? Everybody, are you getting?
Yes, ma'am.
178. And what is n square? What is 4 square? 4 square. 11 into 4 square.
178 is less than or equal to 176.
Yes.
176.
176. So it is false.
Yes.
So it is false. So we say that it is true for n greater than 4. Yes, have you understood this? We will see how to apply this in the program. We'll see it later. But have you understood what is meaning of big O notation? Yes, everyone. And sometimes f of n is never equal to O of n for any of the cases. Like suppose and consider that sometimes you will never have such values. So suppose f of n is equal to 3n plus 2 and g of n is 1. 3n plus 2 and g of n is 1. So if you try to solve it, so what we want, f of n must be less than equal to some constant into g of n. Means 3n plus 2 must be less than equal to some constant c. As g of n is 1 only, can this ever evaluate to something less than 1 as well as non-negative value? It must be non-negative, but it must be always equal to 1. So in this case, will it work? Can you say that f of n is a function big O notation of g of n?
No, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, in this case, it may work, it may not work for multiple cases. It may not satisfy this in the cases because the precondition is f of n and g of n must be non-negative functions. So we cannot make this negative for negative values of n. So this is not satisfied. So in this case, we can say that f of n is not equal to big O of g of n. Have you understood? So sometimes it may never satisfy, and sometimes it may satisfy. Yes, Samiksha is asking how to guess for a constant. See, we'll see this, how to guess for a constant and how to try for n values, minimum n values. We'll see it. First, understand the basics of all these three, big O, omega and theta notations, and then we'll solve those examples. Okay. So when we come to computing programs, in a program there are this n, generally in the program this n which we are talking about, it is generally number of iterations in the program or number of recursions in the program. Do you understand what is iterations? Iteration means number of times the loops execute. If any loop, while loop or for loop, if it is executing 4 times, we say that the program has 4 iterations. For example, it can be anything. If the function is calling itself recursively 10 times, then this n will refer to those number of recursions or those number of iterations. Are you able to understand? We'll see examples related to this. We'll go step by step. So in a program, when we analyze a program in terms of big O notations, this n which we are talking about over here, it generally refers to the number of iterations and to the number of recursions the program or the function has. Yes, Amodi, it is important for it to be positive because as I am explaining, it refers to number of iterations or number of recursions. So iterations and recursions are never negative. Either it is 0 or more than 0. It is neither negative. So this theorem or these notations are considering these values of f and g as only positive values. Clear? Yes. Because we are going to relate it with the program. Yes, Samudi.
Ma'am, but in last question, that value of n was not equal to 4, na? It was greater than 4.
Which question? This
That,
question?
no, the question before that.
See, n was always greater than equal to 5 in that case. 10 square plus 4n plus 2. Are you talking about that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. In that case, n was greater than equal to 5. So, the big O notation was satisfied only when n was greater than equal to 5. Clear?
Okay, ma'am, got it. Got it.
Yes. So it has some preconditions on n. Minimum value of n must be there. Otherwise, it is not big O of g of n. Yes. So in the program, whenever we'll see examples of program. Later, first we need to understand some more mathematics behind it. This O of n which we are talking about, O of g of n, is generally in some format like this. O of 1 means g of n will be 1, or O of n, some value n. O of n square, some value n square. If the for loop execute n square times, then it will be O of n square. For example, we go step by step. Or sometimes it can be also O of n cube. Or sometimes it can also be O of 2 raised to n. So depending upon the number of iterations or whatever we have in the program, we will have such big O notations in the program. We will also have logarithmic notations sometimes. Log of n. So as Aditya was asking, this O of n, it is a linear function. Are you able to understand? Linear. Log n is logarithmic. O of 1, it is constant. You can have the O of 1, 2, 3, whatever with some constant value. So there is no n over here. If you have n, it is linear. If you have n square, what type of expression this will be? Will it be quadratic? Have you studied this? Yes. If it is n cube, then we will say that it is cubic. And when it is 2 raised to n or something in this format, 3 raised to n or 4, 5, whatever raised to n, then it will be exponential. Yes. So big O notations can be constant, linear, quadratic, cubic, or exponential. Understood different types of big O notations. Now, let me know that from this logarithmic, linear, quadratic, cubic, and exponential for a given value of n, which of these will give you least value. Which is the least value and which is the maximum value? Okay, consider n is equal to 2. What will be 2 raised to 2? If n is equal to 2, what will be 2 raised to 2?
4.
Yes, 4. What will be 2 raised to 3?
8.
Yes. Then again 2 raised to 2, 4. Linear means 2. What will be log of 2? What will be log of 2? Yes, something in point. And somebody is saying 0.3. Yes. So if we have a time complexity of a program denoted in terms of log, then it is minimum. Means the program will require minimum time to execute the program or function, whatever we are considering. Understood? So if time complexity of a program is denoted using big O notations like this, and it is with a logarithmic value, then we say that the time required to execute that program is minimum. Means the program is executing very fast. Understood? The operations are performed very fast, whatever the operations are written in the program. If the time complexity of a program is written in big O, but it is cubic or exponential or quadratic, then we can say that the program requires more time to execute and it is slower. Yes, can we draw these such conclusions related to time complexity of a program? Yes, we are going step by step. Later on, we'll see how to relate this and denote a program's time complexity with such notations. We will see it, but we are going step by step. So logarithmic time complexity denoted in big O notation will be fastest than other time complexities. Yes, this is logarithmic. It will require minimum time to execute. Understood, everyone? So this is a very popular question asked even in the GATE examinations. Do you know GATE examinations? Have you heard about GATE examinations? Yes, GATE, it is entrance exam to appear for intake in IIT or other such qualifications, higher studies, GATE exams. So in GATE exams also such questions come that given a program with following time complexity, which program will work fastest? So you can see the one noted in terms of logarithmic big O notations will execute fastest. Understood? Yes. So as you are free, can I continue or I can take an extra lecture tomorrow? Are you comfortable if I continue? Or shall I take an extra lecture tomorrow to cover up this? Yes. Okay. So tomorrow I think at 1:15, you have a slot on MERCT. Yes, you have a free slot for some activities defined. Yes, at 1:15, I think you are free in that time slot. And after that, you have some lab. So if possible, I'll schedule my lecture at 1:15 tomorrow. I will send a notification on your group accordingly. So tomorrow we'll see some theorems related to big O notations and theta and omega notations, and then solve some examples. Understood, everyone? Will it be okay with all? So with this, I will stop this lecture.